Hey everybody, welcome back Fibro Warriors. This is Helen Thompson. You're watching Fibromyalgia Real Talk, and I know it's been a bit since I did my last video. I apologize for that. If you remember the last video, I was in a lot of pain and having some back issues. Well, I found out I have a bulging disc in my low back and it's pushing on the nerve root. And so, with our nerve pain and all that stuff, it's just making all of that worse. And so anyway, that's the issue that I'm dealing with. Hopefully I'm going to get a injection soon that will help. If not, I might need surgery to decompress, the disc off of the nerve root. So, we have a lot of issues that we deal with besides fibromyalgia. So, this just makes our lives a lot more complicated when we have these issues. But I just wanted to jump on today and just share my story with you a little bit. It's kind of hard to do when I'm doing the videos because I'm so focused on giving you all the information and making sure I don't forget what I need to tell you. So this morning I was out, had the opportunity to do a video shoot for a magazine that my photographer's doing. It's for a 40 over 40 project. So she's taking pictures of 40 women over 40 and putting them in together in kind of like a magazine. And she's doing this whole kind of thing to celebrate women. So I figured since, I had my hair done and my makeup on that I could jump on here and just give you guys a quick little share of my video. So, I mentioned before that I think I've had fibromyalgia my whole life, and it's just kind of slowly through the different stress periods in my life kind of started showing its ugly head. So I really don't remember when I first noticed my symptoms. I think, it was probably after my car accident. I was 18 years old. I had a car accident, and from then on, I had this permanent pain in my neck, my upper back, my shoulders, just seemed to go down my whole back, and it was horrible. And I had it for years. I'd exercise all the time and I'd do my running and I would hurt so bad I'd have to ice it after. It was terrible. And then I played softball. So I was on these softball teams and the city softball teams. And I noticed that every time I played, man, my shoulder, my throwing arm hurt so bad. And I ended up having to get cortisone shots in my shoulder, but they would almost freeze up. They would hurt so bad I'd have to ice them for a couple of days. So I ended up having to stop playing because of that. And so, yeah, it's been quite a mess. So at that point, I had 3 kids already and was married, and I was trying to figure out where is this pain coming from. But prior to that, since I've been diagnosed, I've been thinking back on my childhood. And, they say that childhood trauma and stress is really related to our bodies being in the fight or flight mode constantly all the time throughout our lives. We end up being in the stress response more than our regular functioning response. And so our body just gets stuck or used to operating that way at a certain point. And that's kind of what you guys all talk about, your trigger point. Mine was probably that car accident when I was 18, because that's when I started really getting the symptoms. But when I look back on my childhood, there was little clues, because I had a pretty stressful childhood, very abusive household. But I noticed that I was getting issues and things that my brothers and sisters were not having. So I think it's those of us that have a really big heart and wear our, heart on our sleeves, and we're very sensitive and we're very aware of the energy around us, and we react to the energy around us differently. And I think this is why my sisters and my brother didn't have these issues, because they were intaking the energy in a different way, in a different route. Maybe they were burying it somehow, but we have a hard time burying it because we just have to get all of our emotions out at the time. Because if we hold on to it, we just blow up later, and it's just terrible. But anyway, I was thinking, I used to get eczema, which is fibromyalgia related dermatitis, skin issues, and my brothers and sisters never get that, but I would get that whenever I would be outside or going swimming or anything like that. And then I had these terrible headaches growing up. A child before puberty shouldn't even be having headaches, and I would get these headaches so bad, and I didn't know back then, but they were migraines. And it was horrible and awful. And I just had, different aches. I played sports when I was young, moving up into high school. And so every year when I would start doing my conditioning for my sports again, I got these terrible shin splints when I would run. I got these terrible muscle cramps every time I tried to, use my muscles or, whatever it is. And I'm like, why am I so stiff? Why, can't I do this? Or why can't I stay limber? And I would just constantly just be really stiff all the time. And I stretched all the time, and I was really, active and everything. So it was just kind of weird because, other kids didn't get that. And then it seemed like I would just get tired fast. I'm like, man, I'm young. I have all this energy. Why am I always tired? So I had those issues prior to when the pain finally hit. And then after that car accident, and I constantly had this pain, I always thought it was from the car accident. I was seeing chiropractors and everything and never really complained about it to my doctor because it's just aches and pains. So who goes to the doctor for that, right? Well, it comes to turn out that after I had my kids, and then, I was in a really stressful marriage, and then I was going to nursing school on top of all that. And I think all of that stress that I was under at that period of time just really kind of made my fibromyalgia full blown, because after that, I started noticing that when I would exercise, I would get extremely exhausted. And I'm like, I should be getting more energy. Why am I more tired? When I would do my workouts, my muscles would be so sore afterwards that I would have to wait 2 or 3 days before I could do another workout. And I'm like, I've had regular workout soreness before, but this was like something different. It was, really painful, and it lasted for a long time. And I'm like, oh, so it was really frustrating. And then, the fatigue, has just been bad. Most of my life. And when I was young, I didn't sleep well. I've never slept well. I've always been one of those people that had a hard time going to sleep because of the stressful household that I lived in. Like, you will never know what's going to happen next or what's going to set dad off or, anything like that. So you're always kind of in that stress mode, like, oh my gosh, I'm afraid to even let my body sleep. So I've always had sleep issues. And, that's a big issue with fibromyalgia as well. So I think there was just little precursors and little things that happened throughout my life. And then finally, the final trigger was that car accident for me, that my body just said, okay, that's enough. We're going to stay in this mode because you're in this mode all the time anyway. And that's when everything just started getting worse and all the other symptoms started showing up. And of course, over the 20 or so years I've been diagnosed, I've had new things come and go and all these issues. So all the symptoms that we go through and everything that I talk about, if you haven't had the symptoms yet, you're going to, don't worry. They're all going to show up at some time eventually. And a lot of people think, oh, is your fibromyalgia getting worse? No, it doesn't progressively get worse. It just changes. So we just get new symptoms that come into our life, this and that, but none of it is permanent and none of it is really going to disable us to the point that where we can't function. Now, if you have other issues and underlying diagnoses and things, those things can definitely play into it and cause you to be more unable to do things and whatnot. I understand that is definitely a thing. But with me, I only have fibromyalgia and now my bulging disc in my back. But really, I have learned over the years how to manage it, how to manage my life, how to take back control so that it's not controlling me. So that's really my point here, is to get you guys the information that the doctors are not giving us, to have you just kind of sit back and think about it and look back on your life. I bet you're going to look and see some symptoms that you didn't realize were fibromyalgia, but they actually were. And, we can fight this. We can have a great life with this. I just want to help you all get there and kind of get your life back again, because we deserved, I'm so angry. You'll see it come out in my next couple of videos, because I'm so tired of the doctors ignoring us and not even bothering to look into what fibromyalgia is and that it's actually real and that we are suffering. There's 10 million people in just the United States that suffer with fibromyalgia, and that's not counting everywhere else. And everywhere else, there's millions of people as well that are looking for answers out there. So where's our research? Where's our compassion? Why does the medical field just ignore us and think that this is something that is just in our heads and that we're not experiencing? It's like, wow, okay, there's few good doctors out there, the ones that really want to know and want to help us, but most of the doctors don't even try to help us. They just pan us off to, here, go see the specialist, here, go see the specialist. Oh, they can probably treat this. Oh, they can probably treat that. Then you go see the specialist and they're like, no, go back to your primary care. It's nothing, you know, whatever. It's like nobody wants to take on the responsibility of us fibromyalgia. So I'm kind of taking on the responsibility with these videos. That's my whole point, you guys, is to get you the information so that you can help me fight it. So we can go back to our doctors and say, hey, look, you know, this is real. This is how we need to manage it. This is what we need you to do for us. We're going to have to figure it out ourselves and tell them what we need, which is really kind of sad that we have to do that. But at this point, this is what we have to do. And there's a book out there written by a doctor who has fibromyalgia. And trust me, she has the same problems and issues with her own. I mean, I'm a nurse, so I get the same looks and the eye rolls like, oh man, you got fibromyalgia, whatever, kind of a look. And so I'm trying to educate as many people as I can in the medical field that this is a real illness. We are not drug seekers. We are not, you know, we are really at 24/7 in pain all the time. And I think my coworkers are now starting to get it because they see me at work and they see me start getting drained and start slowing down and can't do certain things because I don't have the strength that day or I don't have the energy that day. And, you know, it's a real fight for us in whatever we do. But I'm hoping that by doing these videos and giving you guys the information that we're going to create some awareness, that we're going to get some attention from some people. And if we start sharing this and making sure these videos go around the world, it's going to be awesome because we need to really get a lot of people behind us so that we have some power, so that we can go out there and say, hey, I have this video series and I have, you know, 1 million people around the world interested in wanting this information, and do some research for us. Help us out. There's no reason why we should be ignored. There's no reason why we shouldn't be as important as heart disease, as breast cancer, as lupus, as some of the autoimmune diseases or whatever. You know what? Fibromyalgia is big and it's huge and a lot of people have it. And a lot of our military people suffer from it. Do you know since World War II, they've been diagnosing vets that come back from war with fibromyalgia. A lot of their PTSD symptoms are really fibromyalgia symptoms. And it's not a new thing. It's been around for a long time. So we need to really put our efforts in right now and push this and see if we can get some attention and see if we can get some awareness and somebody behind us to help us, you know, raise money and, you know, get these researchers back on our case again. Because honestly, there's been no new research done in the last 10 years. And really all they're researching right now is, oh, can we find a new medication, a magic pill that will work for these guys with fibromyalgia so we can get them out of our office so they stop bugging us. So a lot of the research and the studies that are going on right now are just for other medications that aren't going to work, because until they find out what is causing it and how it's working in our bodies, they can't possibly give us a medication that's already been made and say, oh yeah, this is going to work for you, because this is an illness that's never been studied to the depths that needs to be studied. So how can they possibly know what's going to work for us? And that's another, I'm doing, okay, my next video, I think I'm going to do autoimmune diseases, and then I'm going to do a medication video. When I get to the medication video, I'm really going to go off about this, because all of these medications they give us are just poisoning our bodies. They are not helping with our situation, and they're not, and half of them are not even approved for fibromyalgia. They're just like, oh, here, well, that didn't work here. Let's see if this one does anything for you. And it's harming us. These medications we put in our body are harming our organs and our tissues and the way our body functions, and it's not okay. And they need to stop doing it. So that's my little rant, and thank you for listening, and I hope you guys are enjoying the videos. Please leave in the comments and let me know if there's anything you want me to do different, if there's any information I can get for you that hasn't come out yet. I am going to be going through all of the symptoms, so we're going to have tons of videos. And I'm filming some more this week, so I'll be putting some more out next week, but I just wanted to let you guys know that I'm still here and still excited to do this for you, and I appreciate the likes and the shares, and let's just get this out there, and let's help our warriors get to the point to where we don't have to be so disabled, and we don't have to, our lives are not run by fibromyalgia. We run our lives, and fibromyalgia is just there. It's just kind of in the background. So let me help you. I'm so excited. I love you guys. Gentle hugs until I see you next time. Bye.